I have something else I want to try. We know that when you hit something, it doesn't always do the same damage. So I want to see the percent range that our hits can inflict. So we're going to find a nice test weapon. Gonna grab a bodkin. And a brutal club. For us, this will bring our damage to exactly 100. So whenever we hit the training dummy, it'll tell us the exact percentage of damage it does. Because obviously it goes up to 100%, and 100 damage is 100%. 1 damage is 1%. So we're going to do 1,000 hits and see how that turns out. After fighting the training dummies and switching to fight more, running back to reset them, I got a whole bunch of numbers. My goal was 1,000, but I actually wound up with more than that. So I just am going to keep those numbers for a more accurate representation. What I did with the numbers was I separated the criticals and the non-criticals. And we're just going to take a look at the non-criticals for now, because that is a direct percentage, because it's a 100 maximum. So we had 1,356 non-critical hits. And here's our percentages and the amount of numbers that showed up. Most of the numbers lean towards 70. And we have an average of 76.7. Our minimum was 61 and our maximum was 99. One time, a long time ago, like 2013, I managed to hit 100% on something. It was the only time I ever did it. So that shows that 100% is possible. And the RNG roller for fluctuation must be large to account for large numbers, like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, because it is possible to hit 25,681, for example. Perfect RNG is likely needed to hit exactly 100%, which is probably why we didn't see a 60 or 100 in our test. Rounding is either non-existent for small numbers or very rare. Health is rounded to the nearest number, because 10 vid is 63 health and not 62.5. So maybe this is too? I don't know. But even if it is, over 99.49% is very unlikely. So, accounting for all this information, we're left with our damage fluctuation being 80% plus or minus 0 to 20%. So somewhere between 60 and 100% is what you're going to hit. And here's my damage equation. It's incomplete because we don't have all the information, but it's a general outline. So you take one damage type that's part of your damage, say fire, and you times that by the flux percentage, like 80%. So 80% of your fire damage. Then you times that by whatever resistance reduces it by, which is going to be less than 1 all the time. Then you apply the level penalty, and then you do that with your other damage types and add them all together, and you'll have the damage that you hit. We can't solve that right now, but it's important for later when we test more of these things out. Here's all the critical numbers. I included them for a reason, just for extra info. And we actually had a higher critical hit rate than the critical test. 7.63 at 600 ability. And we got an average of 151.875. Divide that by 2, and you'll see that we got almost 76 on average for that. So that agreed with the top information. All those criticals are even numbers, which made me think about something. Why is that? Well, I questioned it a little bit, and I also saw that all leaderboard hits are even numbers, which made me find out that critical damage takes what you would have done and times by 2. Now people might be saying, Fury, you're dumb. How'd you not know that? Well, it tells us that resistance isn't applied after, it's applied beforehand. So, even if something is really overpowered, and you can only hit 1 damage against it, which is the minimum, you would still get a 2 damage critical, not a 1 damage critical. It's not that important, but it's an interesting note. So, our information leaned toward the 70s, but I'm not sure if that's RNG or not. But in any case, our numbers go from 60 to 100. And I think that's some really helpful information to know, and it'll pave the way for what I have planned later to test. Hope you all liked it.